guys and gals, Noah Ohlsen here to talk to you about the thruster. It's actually one of my favorite movements in CrossFit. A thruster is essentially a squat to press. That's what they call it in a Globo gym. We're gonna have the barbell in the front rack position, go all the way down into a front squat, stand up, use that momentum coming from the bottom of the squat to press the barbell overhead. You can do it for strength, you can do it multiple reps at a time, but it's a very versatile movement that's working the whole body at once. When I'm setting up for a thruster, I'll approach the bar with my feet right under my hips. I'm gonna grab the bar right where the smooth part meets the knurling. I'll put my thumb on it. Most of the time, because the movement starts in the squat position, you can do a squat clean to get to the bottom of a thruster, or you can do a power clean, get the barbell set in the front rack, and a thruster is gonna be a full front squat into a full overhead press. Over the years, we've seen the thruster in many competitions, whether it's the Open or the CrossFit Games or a local throwdown. Thruster is almost certainly gonna come up at some point. Some of the tips that I've found in doing so many of them to be a little bit more efficient, one is making your stance a little bit wider. So if you can bring your feet out to set it up where your hip goes just below your knee, you're still gonna get credit for the rep, but you're able to shorten the range of motion a little bit versus my feet being underneath my hips. Now I'm gonna have to go a little bit lower, and if that extra inch of depth adds 1 second to the rep, across the course of maybe you have a workout with 100 thrusters, that's almost a minute and a half that you can save by just changing your stance a little bit. So I like to make sure that I warm that up. I can go nice and wide. I hit the bottom of that squat with my hips just below parallel, and I'm able to stand up and quickly press it overhead. I know for me that also allows me to get a little more of that elastic reflex so I can kind of bounce out of the bottom, and that fatigues my quads a little bit less. Other tips on the thruster. Depends on what the workout is and what the weight is. If you're cycling light thrusters as quickly as possible, sometimes you may actually want to pull the barbell back down onto your shoulders to speed the rep up a little bit. That'll look something like this. This would be normal pace. And if I'm trying to speed it up, going back down into that squat a little quicker every rep is gonna have a faster cycle rate and allow you to advance through the workout a little more quickly. If you're going to be going heavy on a thruster, one thing that you wanna focus on is generating as much power as you can through your legs and your hips to drive the barbell up off of your shoulders. So after you get down into that squat, as you're standing up out of it, before you reach full extension of your legs, I like to think about squeezing my legs and my glutes as hard and fast as I can to create as much speed of that bar coming off my shoulders so that that press is just at the very end to finish the rep. The reason that the thruster is so difficult, like I said before, it is a full body movement. So going into the bottom of that squat, we're working everything in our legs. We're having to maintain a nice tight core and a vertical torso. And then as we stand up, we're engaging our hips, squeezing through our core and pressing our arms overhead. When you have the bar overhead, you're having to stabilize through your entire body to maintain that position. It also is going to jack up your heart rate and your ventilation rate. So thrusters are pretty much gonna get you all over. And that is why it's very important to recover from a movement like a thruster with the Mark Pro. I know that when I do a lot of thrusters the next day, my quads are rocked. One thing that I will focus on when I'm recovering from thrusters is making sure that I get a really good flush of my quads. The proper placement of the pads on the quads is kind of variable for everyone. One thing that I like to always do is put it right in the middle of what they call like that little teardrop muscle down here. And then the other spot that I'll put it is either going to be somewhere in the middle of my quad, or actually I will find kind of the match with that little teardrop up here. I wish I knew what that was called. I used to back in the day, but it's been a while. And that usually gives me the biggest flush when I have going from the top to the bottom of my quad. I'll show you guys what that looks like here. Put it on low frequency. And crank it up as high as you can stand it. At a 9 there, I'm getting that full quad contraction and getting a really, really good flush of all that nasty stuff if my quads are nice and tight and sore. The best part is I just get to sit back and relax and let the Mark Pro do all the work.